Hello everyone and welcome to this tutorial session. In this video we will understand what are errors in Python. So we start off this video by giving an introduction to errors in Python. Then we will discuss what are exceptions, and in the last we will discuss some examples related to both error and exception. So without any further delay, let's jump on to our very first topic and let's discuss about errors. Now as programmers, we all want our program to work flawlessly in every situation. However, every programmer, whether they are just starting out or have been programming for years, will make some mistakes. Now, errors and exceptions can be incredibly frustrating, but understanding various errors and exceptions can be extremely beneficial. So let us start with understanding errors in Python. Basically, errors are unanticipated and uncommon events that disrupt the normal flow of execution of program. This is because we all make mistakes from time to time, and some of these mistakes occur from improper use of specified syntax, and some common errors are runtime mistakes that occur after the code has been successfully passed the syntax. Now, whenever a Python program encounters an error, it terminates the program execution. Now, in Python, errors can be classified into two distinct types. So, very first is the syntax error, and second could be logical errors, which are also known as exceptions. So let us discuss about both of these categories in detail. So let's start with the syntax error. So a syntax error, which is commonly known as parsing error, is an error that is caused when we do not follow the language structure properly. So for example, when we don't specify the colon after using a for loop. So let us discuss one example related to this syntax error. Now here you can see one simple example. What we are doing in this example, first we define this list. Now here you can see this list contain all string type data, and we have assigned this list to a variable names. So now names is a list type variable. So after defining this list of names, we are using a for loop. Now in this for loop, first we define this for keyword, then we define the iteration variable name, then we use this in keyword. So basically we are using this for loop to iterate over each item given in the list. Now here you can notice that we have not defined the colon after the for loop. So if I try to execute this cell, here you can see the Python interpreter has returned this syntax error expecting a colon. So when I use the colon after the for loop and when I give proper indentation, now you can see our program has successfully executed. So with this we can conclude that a syntax error are simple errors which are caused when we do not follow the rules of the programming language. Now after syntax error, let's discuss about exceptions. So exceptions, which are also referred as logical errors, are errors that occur during the execution of the Python program. So these are the errors which come at runtime after passing the syntax test. So this type of error can occur when we try to divide any integer value by 0. So it will return 0 division error, or it can also occur when we try to import a module that does not exist. So in that case it will return module not found error. Now let us discuss one example related to this as well. So here you can see one example. In this example what we are doing, so first we are taking dividend as an input from the user and we are storing it in this num_1 variable. After this we are taking divisor as an input from the user and we are storing it in the num_2 variable. Then we are calculating the quotient, or you can say we are simply dividing both of these inputs and we are calculating the quotient and we are storing it in the result variable. After this we are using the print function to print the result. Now let me execute this cell. So here first I need to provide a dividend. So let me pass 18 as my dividend. Now I have to pass divisor. Now in this case if I pass 0 and hit enter, here you can see the Python interpreter has returned this error, 0 division error. This error, or we can say this exception, basically arise because we are trying to divide any number by 0. So mathematically we cannot divide any number by 0. That's why this error has been occurred. Now, before we start discussing about various built-in exceptions and how we can handle these exceptions in Python, it is important to understand the difference between an error and an exception. So the key difference between errors and exception is that we cannot handle errors in Python, but we can handle exceptions at runtime. So for example, we cannot operate the syntax error at runtime, but there are many distinct exceptions that might occur during the execution and which are also operatable. So as we discuss about the zero division error, we can handle that exception at runtime. So whenever a user tries to divide any number by zero, we can return a new message to it that you are trying to divide any number by zero, which is wrong. Give any other input. So we can consider that errors are a type of unchecked exceptions that is unrecoverable. However, when Python script throws an exception object is produced, and the program will be forced to quit its execution if the script does not explicitly handle the exception. So this was all about errors in Python. Now I hope you have understood the difference between an error and an exception. And with this we have come to the end of this tutorial session. In the next one, we will discuss about some of the built-in exceptions. So thank you for watching. We will see you in the next one.